Hi, welcome to Ed's Eats. We're filming from today because it's so hot in here. We have no air condition. I refuse to turn it on. So we're making gazpacho because we're gonna chill this down, ice the out of it, and we're gonna drink it with alcohol just to cool off. Good intro? No, okay. Today we're making a great spring, summer, and early fall dish. We're gonna make gazpacho. And when I tell you super simple, easy gazpacho, you know the way I like to do it. Everything is simple. Whatever ingredients you have will work. I know people have specific gazpacho recipes. I know they want you to scoop out seeds from the cucumber. They want you to only use certain stuff. I'm telling you, whatever vegetables you have, as long as you have cucumber and tomato in it and some sherry vinegar, that's the base of your great gazpacho and the base of having a super simple, easy recipe. Now, you can push this through a juicer, you can use a food processor, and you can use a blender. Today I'm gonna do it in the food processor because that's what I have here with me. So whatever you have at home, that's what you're gonna use. I'm just telling you, don't believe that you can't make gazpacho in a food processor. You can. So let's get started. I have everything laid out here in front of me. I have red peppers, I have zucchini, squash, I have tomatoes, red onion, a little bit of garlic, I have tomato juice, sherry vinegar, I have a little bit of jalapeno, and I have Kirby cucumbers. Now, you can use whatever cucumber you like. You want to use hothouse cucumbers, regular cucumbers. I use Kirby cucumbers because this is what I use here in the restaurant and I don't want to take an additional product. And as far as the seeds go, most recipes are going to tell you to remove the seeds. I don't remove them. I believe in hydration, and there's a lot of gel water inside the center of the cucumber. I don't have an additional use for the seeds from the cucumber and I don't want to discard them, so we're going to use the whole cucumber. So with everything here, most of the stuff's going in the food processor. We're going to reserve a little bit of the ingredients to dice up, to mix into the gazpacho as well, so it looks a little nicer, has a little additional texture. So we're gonna get started right here. I've rinsed all of my vegetables already. I'm gonna move the stuff out of the way. We're gonna do a rough chop on some of it, get it into the food processor, chop it up really fine, put it into our bain-marie. We're gonna mix in our tomato juice, season it up, add our sherry vinegar. That's how simple it is. Here we go. So I'm gonna start first and just kind of cut my cucumbers and all of my veg into smaller pieces. So you see I'm halving them here, and it's just really a rough chop. There's nothing specific. I'm not going to reserve any cucumber to dice up or tomato like I will the other vegetables. When you're chopping these vegetables up, there's no right or wrong way to do this. If you want to put them all together, you want to do each vegetable separately, there's no wrong way to do this. And like I said, we're always keeping it simple. So the one thing that I am doing is I will do this in small batches, not to overfill the food processor, and this way I can get it chopped up enough. If you're having a hard time with pureeing the vegetables in the food processor, what we want to do is make sure that we stop, push the vegetable down, and we can add a little bit of the tomato juice to help facilitate the pureeing of the vegetables. Just by the sound now that it's pureeing around very easily with just a little bit of liquid added in. If you don't want to use tomato juice, you could always put a little splash of water as well. So we're going to do this for all of our vegetables, and you can see this is nice and pureed, and this is really a good consistency. Let me lift this up so you could see. And this is really what we're looking for in all of the vegetables being chopped up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these to my bain-marie, and after each puree, we're going to add to our bain-marie the vegetables, and that's going to go in the refrigerator to cool off. And don't worry about scraping this all out right now because you're going to continue to use this, and we'll scrape it out later on when we're finished. So let's chop up our tomatoes. And whatever tomatoes you have plum tomatoes, you have yellow tomatoes, red tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, any vegetable is good. Technically, tomatoes are fruit. Isn't that correct? I am still going to cut the pith out of the pepper. The pith from the pepper, this will go in my compost pile at home, and any other scraps I take out of the vegetable will end up in my compost. And I'm just going to reserve just a little bit of this pepper to dice up later on. The jalapeno is going to get diced up as well to be mixed in. I'll leave that right there on the side. Give this a little chop. I'm going to just crush the garlic, drop it right in. I'm going to coarse cut our onion. See what else we could fit in there. We have our zucchini. Cut the ends off. And right back at it over here. For the compost pile. Try not to waste anything whenever possible. We have our fennel here. Love the smell of fennel. It's great to eat raw. A little bit after your meal, or kind of at any time, is really delicious. So in here with this one again, I'm going to add a ladle of tomato juice into this just to help it puree. Maybe just a little bit more. So we basically, we now have all of our veg pureed that's going to go in the gazpacho. We're going to season this up, add our sherry vinegar, and then after that, we're going to dice our veg up to just sprinkle a little bit on top, just as like a beautiful garnish. And I'll also add a little bit of chopped parsley on top as well. Some people like a little cilantro. We could put a little crab meat on top or a little bit of lobster to jazz it up and make it a little fancier. Or if you have some shrimp cocktail, you want to put a nice shrimp or two in there. It really looks beautiful. So just a little bit of garnish on top with the chopped veg and some green mixed in with it, and it's perfect. So let's finish this up here. We'll get the rest of our veg, and now we're going to make sure that we scrape out our food processor bowl very nicely. Let's have the ladle in there, and I'm going to use the ladle to help mix this around. and really smells delicious. The cucumber really stands out. You get a little bit of the smell of the fennel, a little bit of the onion, but you know, the whole mix of vegetables just really works well together. And like I said, it's whatever you have in your refrigerator, which makes it really nice. You don't have to follow a specific recipe, just kind of the procedure is what's important here. So I have some salt, pepper here. I have a little bit of Old Bay. I have my sherry vinegar. And I got a bowl full of beautiful pureed vegetables. The first thing we're gonna do is just put our tomato juice right in there. And that is canned tomato juice. If you are making your own tomato water, tomato juice, fantastic. It's not necessary for a gazpacho. And you know, this really comes down to how thick you like it or thin you like it. I may need a little more tomato juice for my liking in this than the amount that I put in here, but you'll see once we put our sherry vinegar in. Mix that around. You know what, here, I'm gonna lift up this ladle. You can see how thick this is. Personally, this is okay. However, I'm gonna get a little more tomato juice in here because I'd like to see this be a little thinner. So I have a little bit of additional tomato juice, an additional quart that I'm gonna pour in. And that's definitely gonna be enough liquid in this recipe. I'm gonna mix that around, just check my consistency. And for me, this is definitely where I want it to be. It was just a little more juice in there, and that's perfect. So we're gonna season this up and we're gonna add a little bit of black pepper. A healthy amount of salt in this because it really takes a lot of seasoning. And then I like Old Bay, completely optional in your recipe, but we're gonna add a little bit of Old Bay in because it adds a touch of spice and a lot of flavor. I gotta tell you, I think I nailed the salt perfectly on the first time. We're gonna add a little bit more Old Bay because I want a touch more spice in there. The vinegar flavor really jumps out when this gets cold, and it has to be cold. You really have to give this enough time to chill. Put it in an ice bath if you need it right away, but let it sit in the refrigerator until it gets ice cold. You don't want to serve this just cooled off. You want the flavors to really come out, and it's not going to come out until it's ice cold. Just another pinch of pepper in there. Just another taste, and I brought a few spoons out because I figured this would take a few times to get it done. And I think we're ready to go. We're gonna get this in the refrigerator for a few hours minimum, let it chill. Before we serve it, we're gonna check the seasoning again to see how well all the flavors melded and if we need to add a little more salt in. So I'm gonna go put this to chill, then I'm gonna come back and cut my vegetables to sprinkle on top, and we'll be ready to go. So, ready to dig into my gazpacho. Before I do, I just want to say thank you for all the follows, likes, and comments that I've been getting. It's really appreciated, and I definitely take them all into account. They all get read. Keep them coming, and keep the suggestions. We like to hear from everybody. So, here we go. Oh man, this is super great. The sherry vinegar kind of gives just a little bit of bite in your mouth and the back of your throat as you're eating it. And this is perfect. This is the perfect dish for a hot summer day sitting at home. So I'm gonna finish eating here. You guys go enjoy yourself. Make this soup, do it today. Don't wait. Thank you so much. See you again next time on Ed's Eats.